Hey everyone, today I'm going to go over the not so exciting news that we have for Grim Guardians Demon Purge. This is NT Create's most recent Castlevania-like game that recently just released a few weeks back. I actually put up a review on it. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for that. We actually gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a really good Castlevania-like game. However, it turns out that the game, seemingly out of nowhere, was just pulled from the North American eShop on the Nintendo storefront. At the same time, it was also pulled from the Xbox storefront as well. So as of right now, if you try to purchase the game, maybe you watched a review, maybe you watched some gameplay, maybe it was someone was talking about it on a subreddit or Discord or wherever the case may be, and you wanted to purchase the game right now, you simply cannot do so, due to the fact that the game was pulled from the eShop here in North America and the Xbox storefront here in North America as well. It is worth noting that the game did release on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC Steam, and the game is still currently available, interestingly enough, on the PlayStation Store for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC Steam. So therefore, you can purchase it here in North America and those platforms if you choose to do that. However, if you're still located in Europe or maybe Asia or even Japan, you can actually purchase it directly from the eShop still. So it's available for the Nintendo Switch in the European storefront and the Asian and Japanese storefronts for the Nintendo Switch. Not too sure about the Xbox side of things. So therefore, this actually seems to suggest that there might be an ESRB ratings situation going on, which might be the reason why it ended up getting pulled here in North America. But again, interestingly enough, the same ESRB rating would apply for PC and Steam and the PlayStation Store. And as of the time of this video's recording, it's still available there. So not too sure what might be going on. I do think the game is relatively good as a Castlevania-like. I know a lot of people, some of the reviews that I saw afterwards mentioned that it was a Metroidvania. It really isn't. It doesn't have the backtracking features or expectations you would have from a Metroid type game or a Metroidvania, but it does have all the typical stuff that you would expect from a Castlevania-like game. So therefore, that's why in my review, I called it a Castlevania-like. With that said, though, maybe, and this is something that I saw some people suggest on subreddit, is the fact that there are a couple of maybe suggestive arts showcase, a couple of just animated cutscenes or whatever, just a couple of cutaway arts that might be a little bit lewd, if you want to consider them that way. Very tamed back, though, compared to other games you might be able to find on the eShop already. So it honestly wouldn't register if that's really the reason why the ESRB rating would be, probably having a problem with it. At the same time, this is an NT Creates game. Therefore, I would understand that they know very well what they can get away with posting ratings-wise. And, they haven't necessarily ever had this type of problem before. It is worth noting, though, that games like Dual Princess, I reported this a while back, it ended up getting pulled from the eShop. After it originally launched, there were a couple of games also from the Japanese publisher Curate as well, with like Beat Reflay, I believe is like the changed name of that game, where it was supposed to be like some rhythm game with like massaging tied to it, and people had some complaints regarding it. There's been a lot of games that kind of just ended up getting pulled from the eShop from Japanese publishers. But when it comes to this specific thing, we don't really have an answer as to why that was the case. We don't really have an explanation as to why they would even consider pulling that. Since, again, I played the game to completion, I didn't really find any content that would have been, lewd or too suggestive to really be, questionable in that regard. But at the same time, that's the ESRB ratings for you, being weird about things. But once again, the game is still available on the PlayStation Store. It is available on Steam. You can buy it on the Japanese and European eShops, still available. Presumably some in Latin America, maybe the Southern American storefronts, you can certainly buy it there for a little bit cheaper. But, we're just going to have to keep you guys posted on just what's going to happen with this Grim Guardians Demon Purge store listing being pulled. Maybe it is censorship at the end of the day. We don't really know. There's no real details as of the time of this video going live. So we're just going to have to stay tuned and see what actually happens. Certainly, I'll be posting a follow-up when the game eventually goes back live, which presumably it will, since there is a physical release already planned maybe I believe for like May or June or somewhere around there. It might be available on like Walmart, Amazon, Target, whichever, you know, basic storefront you could buy it from physically. So there is a physical release, and even a collector's edition, I believe, also, or a premium edition planned as well. So, you know, those are eventually going to come out. So it's just going to be interesting to see, you know, what ends up happening with this. There are other games that I just kind of came in mind that I reviewed, like Mistover. This game was originally like a Darkest Dungeon like. There really weren't any really considered content that I would say questionable or anything like that. There was like a priest character that was a little bit, you know, sexualish or whatever, but not really anything visually that you would see, not even in the text suggested anything over the top. And that game ended up getting pulled from the eShop, and as I believe as of right now, I don't ever think it came back being, you know, available. I believe the physical copies ended up selling out. I believe they're only ever available in Asia. And I'm sure you can find them now on eBay for like $200+ because of just how rare that physical print ended up being, since the game is no longer available in the eShop, or at the very least, it hasn't been as of, you know, pretty much last time I checked, which was over a year ago by now. Another game that I also reported on getting pulled from the eShop was Takoyo, the Tower of Perpetuity. That game also became available after it launched on the Nintendo Switch, I believe on PlayStation, Xbox, but it was originally available on PC Steam. It ended up getting pulled right after I put up my review on the eShop. For whatever reason, it ended up getting pulled, and I think it took a few months before the game eventually came back. So we didn't necessarily know what took place there. So again, there's been a relatively long list of games now, this one added to it, which is a more questionable one because of the developers as to why it ended up getting pulled. Hopefully we do get some sort of clarification as to what the case is going on there. But as far as the gameplay goes, it's relatively a Castlevania like game. Plenty of exploration to be had. Certainly a pretty good forward-facing game. Is just pretty much just keep going right. You'll eventually get to the end, and you know, you're not really going to have too much of a problem there. There is a pretty good access to difficulty adjustments where you can play it on easy mode pretty much, so you can actually get to the end of the game, or you can play it on normal, which is really going to push you if you're not too used to, you know, platformers or classic Castlevania like games. So certainly does provide, you know, some good measure to be able to get people to pretty much see it all through to completion. And it's certainly a game that I was looking forward to reviewing, and that is kind of why I ended up getting it a good positive review. It was good. It certainly met all my expectations, and you know, it's just now a shame that it ended up getting pulled. Hopefully that gets sorted out before any more negative news hits the plane. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.